Good evening and welcome. Tonight we will be going over the history and geography of Chimaltenango in Guatemala. This, as you can see, is a pretty small department within Guatemala, just outside the capital of Guatemala City. This area is very mountainous. You can kind of see right here. It says Sierra Madre. These are the same mountains that we talked about last week when we were talking about Chiapas State, just over there in Mexico. Same exact mountain range coming through. Except I think, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that it's much more like mountainy mountains here. Like it's very mountainy over there, but the mountains are much more pronounced here. It's all pretty much mountainous with various valleys throughout where you can find Chimaltenango. In fact, I read that there's a continental divide here in the mountains, which means that along a row of mountains, water will flow off one side to one coast and the other side toward the other coast. Because a river will always flow toward something or other, right? A major body of water. It flows to either side. Those are always pretty neat. I read that they built a church on the Continental Divide, but I couldn't find it. I scoured everywhere trying to find where exactly this church was. All it said was Chimaltenango. Like every source I read said, oh, it's just in Chimaltenango. But like, what name is what's it called? Where is it? I don't know. So if anyone knows the exact church, let me know, because I couldn't find it. I found some churches, but I don't know if those are them, I'll show you what I found on Google Earth later. So that's pretty much geography, because like I said, it's a pretty small area. And I also found just a little bit of history here, mainly pertaining to pre-Columbian times and the Spanish conquest. There were, of course, many people who lived in this area, but most of them were of Mayan descent, and the main group that was living here, at least at the time of the Spanish arrival, was the Cochical Mayans. There are two very prominent Mayan sites in this department, and I'm probably going to pronounce them wrong. This is Ishimche right here. And up here it's kind of hard to see, but it's Mixco Viejo, with Mixco being the main city right there. This is the old one. Two Mayan cities, essentially, that are from the post-classic period. So the Mayans reached their peak between the years 600 and 900 for probably a variety of reasons. Mayan culture greatly dropped off during the 900s CE, of course. We don't know why. It was probably overpopulation, maybe a drought, maybe a famine, maybe a conflict. We don't know, but the civilization began to collapse and fragment. So part of that Mayan culture lived here. They had their own cities, very big and beautiful, but nothing like it was at the height over it, like Tikal and all the other big Mayan sites, some of which we talked about recently. So the Spanish arrived here in I think they officially arrived here in 1527, but 1528 is the important year because both cities wound up becoming abandoned that year. One of them, I think, was Ishimche, was originally, oh gosh, I could be wrong. I didn't double check these facts I read. Usually when I find a source, I try to find a secondary source that backs it up, and I just realized I forgot to do that. So here's what I read. So I could be wrong. That originally they made a pact with the Spanish, probably during the time when they were trying to take down the Aztec, because the Spanish went around finding other groups that were also very anti-Aztec, but I think that was long after that time, actually. But originally they thought they could cooperate with the Spanish, but over time realized that that wasn't going to be an option, that the Spanish weren't looking for cooperation. They were looking to conquer. And once they realized that, they skipped town. They realized this is a losing battle, and they hopped out and abandoned the town. And I guess word got up to Mixco Viejo, because once the Spanish reached there, it too had been very recently abandoned. They hopped out of there to save themselves. So that is what happened there. Very sad, isn't it? They had to leave everything behind. But I bet it saved a bunch of lives. There are, of course, very large Mayan population in Guatemala today and throughout this area of Central America and Mexico. Chimaltenango was actually founded 1526, so 1520. It's probably 1525. The Spanish first came here. 1526 was when Chimaltenango was founded on what was another old Mayan settlement that had also been abandoned, but probably long before this had all happened. They established their church there, their center, and that is essentially all of the major history that I found. There's a lot of farming in this area, and there's a lot of beautiful forest, and there's a tourist industry here, the various fincas and such, eco lodges, so that you can explore the forests and all of its natural beauty. That's pretty much it. So without further ado, why don't I go grab my tablet and I'll dim the lights, and we will explore some of the beautiful sites in this department on Google Earth. Let's go. Here we are in Chimaltenango department. And let's start by zooming out so you can see exactly where we are in the world. You can see Guatemala City, not too terribly far off here. We're going to be hopping over here next week. So look forward to more Guatemala later. Here's Guatemala. It has such an unusual shape. It's so distinct. Hey, kitties. My cats just walked in. Like I say on the channel, Mother Nature doesn't make straight lines. So if you ever see anything on a map where it's perfectly straight, that is a man-made border. And usually, kitty cats, my goodness, right when I start filming, they all wake up. There you go. Right when I start filming. If you see a straight man-made border, that usually means there is nothing there to distinguish between one place and another. And the thing that is there, or I guess isn't there, would be like mountains and rivers. It is just straight forest, right? Big, thick rainforest. You can see Mexico up here. El Salvador and Honduras are down here. And don't forget Belize right there, bordering Guatemala. Beautiful, beautiful Guatemala. You can see the Maya Reserve popped up there. And we're, of course, in Central America, which is technically part of North America, but it's its own special thing, like the Caribbean's also part of North America, but it's its own thing. And then Canada, US, Mexico are their own thing. Regions of North America. So you can very clearly see the mountains coming through here. Very, very, very mountainous. And very forested down here. This big old volcano is right on the border. Look at this. That's actually the little one. Big volcanoes usually have friends. And look at that. It's like I say, it's one of those volcanoes where if you asked a child to draw a volcano, it would look like that. Look, it's very smoky. Look, very smoky. And then here's the big one. There's my cats. Ooh, very, very smoky. The cats are scratching under my desk. They like to scratch the drawers. I would wish they wouldn't, but here we are. Okay. Very smoky Volcan de Fuego. Very appropriate name. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, that's a pretty picture. Oh, that's neat too. You can see the volcano and its friend. We're going to see a big volcano tomorrow, actually. I'm excited to show you that volcano. Hopefully there won't be cats scratching. This person has to go. They are running as fast as they can. And you can kind of see why right there, huh? Look at that. Wow, I can see the city down there. Bonnie. She's having a fun time. Oh, imagine camping out on the volcano. Okay, hold on 1 second. All right, hopefully I've convinced Bonnie to stop scratching. She's over with her brother now. Hopefully they can entertain each other for just a few minutes. You know, let me finish working and then we can play and scratch and all that good stuff. I'm trying to make the... There we go. Chimaltenango. There it is. The main city here. Here, let me just show you. Didn't show like the main area in there, that slideshow. So like here's the main park. Here's their main church. So like when I read like the church in Chimaltenango is the one on the Continental Divide, this is like the only like big relevant church. You know, it's the cathedral. And it's all very old and beautiful inside, as you can see. They got a bunch of balls there. They were playing some Mayan ball games. All the bells and whistles of a colonial church. So the sources I read said the fountain at the church flows to the Atlantic and Pacific. So I'm like, okay, here's a fountain. It's not flowing anywhere. That is just like a man-made little spout, right? And then this park has a big old fountain. Let's see if there's a slideshow just for the fountain. I don't think so. Let's see it. This fountain. But this one also isn't flowing anywhere, but it's clearly very old, right? So maybe it did once upon a time. I don't know. I looked all over like the mountains. See, like here's the main one. That's definitely not a natural fountain. It's very beautiful, but very man-made, you know. I looked all over trying to find what church they were talking about and couldn't find any like church, or there were some monasteries. None of them had fountains. So IDK, I really tried to find this fountain that flows to both sides of the country. Alas, I did not. So if anyone knows what they were talking about, do let me know, because I want to see it. I'm sure you all want to see it too. Let me know in the comments. I'm trying to remember if there's anything else I wanted to show you here in town, but that's pretty much it. See, like there's all of these, let's see, ecological reserves up here. Look how pretty. Look, they got goats and geeses, big honk honks. Beautiful pools of water, big amazing trees and cliffs. Here's a little pool. That's definitely like a diving pool, isn't it? Wow. It is so gorgeous. Let's go find the main event. If we go, let's see if I can remember where, oh, there goes the cats playing. There they go. Well, Mexico Viejo is easy to find if I just put the borders back up, because it's like right in the like upper right hand corner of the department. Oh, I would have never found it. I got turned around. It's up here. See? Easy peasy. Sitio archaeological, Mexico Viejo. Gorgeous. It looks like, you know, very old Mayan site, but much cleaner, huh? Because it was used much more recently than the older Mayan cities. Here's some text. These are letters saying something. Wow. Looks like a big map, you know. I don't know. That's cool. Yeah, much like not overgrown, you know. The stones are still very clean and distinct. Here's a map. Looks like it shows all the various areas and the rivers around. Very cool. Yeah, look at that. Probably a fountain, right? Or maybe for the ball game. Maybe that's where the net was. Look at the little path. How fun. Wow, look at this little path. Almost looks like if this was a torii gate, it would look like Japan, huh? Wow. And pretty amazing. And the second one would be down here, right? I've already forgotten where it was. I was just looking at a map. That had it on it. Goodness, goodness, down here. Oh, this is Sector La Colonia. Oh, some nice Christmas pictures. That is pretty, but not quite what we're looking for. Here it is. Ishimche. The cats are back to scratching, but she's scratching actually in her scratcher, so that works for me. Some more Mayan text there. Such a beautiful looking language. There's some bones. Look away for a second if skeletons, real skeletons, make you uneasy, okay? Because look, this dude has a crazy headband. It apparently had some necklaces too. Okay, they're gone. Some nice headwear. I had to admire it. Ishimche. Very neat. This would be fun to visit. Like a very different Mayan site, you know, because normally you've got all the big pyramids and all the mysteries around it. This was inhabited like 500 years ago instead of 1,000 years ago. Makes a big old difference. They're doing something there. I'm not quite sure. All right. Pretty much I just wanted to look at nature for the rest of this video. That was all of the main things I wanted to show you. So why don't we just zoom into a spot and find some beautiful nature to look at. I know there's like waterfalls and hiking trails we can find. Let's see, let's find a good one. You can see camps there. Like I said, they got their tourism industry, all the churches popping up. Here's a mirador. This must have pictures of the pool. I mean, it's a nice pool. And a splash pad too. Let's see. Here are the cats rolling around. What do you think this is? It is someone's neighborhood. Darn. Well, how come I was finding, here we go. There's a finca up here. I was finding so many neat slideshows and now none of them are popping up. This is the story of my life, isn't it? Let's look at this finca up here. Which, if you don't know, is kind of like if you cross a dude ranch with a lodge, you know, like it's a working farm and you get to be hands-on, but I would say not as much as like a dude ranch. If you don't know, that's pretty much like an American finca where you're actually doing the like ranch work, like herding cows and such. Santa's there. Oh, it's neat. Light post made out of this tree. That's so cool. And from what I can tell, fincas are typically very environmentally conscious, especially in places like this. I mean, they are like farms, so yeah, but more so than any other kind of like fancy forest lodge, you know. They've got the environment in mind. What happened to all the neat pictures I found? Where did they go? Let's go back to the volcano. There's a lot down at the volcano. Down here. Oh, maybe I was looking over here. Maybe this is where I found all the neat pictures. Here's agua caliente. You know what that means? Hot springs. Apparently, this waterfall is muy caliente. That's pretty neat. It's another finca. What's this? Beautiful landscape. What are these cats doing? Some kind of protest happening here, but I can't quite read what it says. Huh. Oh, rainbow. Pretty, pretty. Let's look at another finca. Finca. Up the volcano. trailhead. Let's look at the trailhead. You know what? I think I'm just going to end it here because it sounds like the cats are wilding out. Jet is chewing on his pickle toy. Bonnie wants to go scratch. These cats want to play, so I will just encourage you, as always, to explore these areas on your own. Please, please, please do. I'm sure that you will find some really cool goodies around. Look at that view. That's amazing. But thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this style of content, please consider subscribing. Like I said, tomorrow we're going to see another cool volcano, and a very famous one. It is actually the highest point you can get in the atmosphere while keeping your feet on Earth. And it's not Mount Everest. Do you know what it is? Let me know in the comments if you know what I'm talking about, because we're going to South America. Do you know what volcano I'm talking about? Much bigger than this one and much snowier. Don't forget to give that thumbs up button a little tap and let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. I hope that you found this video to be relaxing and educational, and I hope that you have a good night. Good night.